Brock Purdy, 49ers faithful. Is it too late to say I'm sorry? Let's get it. Welcome to the Camman's Island podcast, where we talk all things San Francisco 49ers. I'm your host, David Camman, and in today's show, we'll be breaking down the big-time performance from our team as the San Francisco 49ers knocked off the Cleveland Browns 26-8 on the road at Huntington Bank Field in Cleveland, Ohio, which is quite a big deal. We're going to be talking about the clutch offense, the solid protection, and the special team effectiveness from what, in my opinion, is the most complete game the 49ers have played thus far in the 2025 NFL season. And guys, it's a big deal considering we're heading into a much-needed bye week. We get the bye week in Week 14, which is the latest bye week a team could have in the NFL, and it could not come at a better time. This will give us an opportunity to get some rest, have a week where we're not going to have any big-time injuries, and give us an opportunity to just sit back and see what happens from around the league. When we come back from that bye week, we're going to have a game at home against the Tennessee Titans. Hopefully, we can take our record from 9-4 to 10-4. Then we'll have 3 very tough games against the Colts, the Bears, and finishing at home against the Seattle Seahawks. And I believe that's the game where we're going to wear them nice uniforms. Can't wait to see those uniforms for sure. But let's break this thing down. And I think the first point that we absolutely have to talk about is my man, Bounce Back Brock. That's right, ladies and gentlemen, Brock Purdy. What a good, clean game. And let's talk about the differences that we saw from the quarterback. Brock Purdy looked noticeably more comfortable, mobile, decisive, and very confident. He was 16 of 29 with 168 yards. He had 1 passing touchdown, which is fine. He even had a 2-yard quarterback scramble for a touchdown and even hit the dance on him. But that's not what I care about. I want to talk about the fact that this man had no turnovers, 0 turnovers at all. And coming into the game, I'll be absolutely honest with you guys, I had concerns. I haven't seen a performance from Brock in a while where he had what we would call back-to-back really good, really effective games. The turf toe has been an area of concern. Brock has not looked as mobile as we're accustomed to seeing him. And I felt for a while now that it could be something related to his confidence, which is understandable coming off the 3 turnover performance in the first half of the last game that he played on national television against the Carolina Panthers. Brock was a completely different guy out there. I had several concerns about the inclement weather. Now I can already hear the Brock haters sitting up here and saying it wasn't snowing, it wasn't raining. There were times where reporters were talking, where the refs were going over and replaying what the call was on the field, and all you could hear was whoosh, all you could hear was ridiculous wind coming through their microphones. Matt Gay almost missed a bunny of a field goal. You saw several passes thrown where the wind would grab the ball. One, in fact, from Shedeur Sanders that the wind just grabbed and took away. There was a punt that was trying to be fielded by the Cleveland Browns. The wind caught it and took some crazy spin, and that one they didn't fumble on, but it was definitely an adventure. But, man, it's a big-time performance from Brock on a day when they needed that type of stability at quarterback. I didn't see any hesitation. And there were times where that pocket was collapsing and collapsing quickly, for sure. Another thing that maybe this is petty of me, and apologies if it is, but it's just something I want to bring up. And I'm not bringing this up to compare. I just want to show you guys the double standard. Today, Matthew Stafford had 3 turnovers in a game that the last turnover Matt Stafford had essentially cost their team the football game against the Carolina Panthers, which I want to remind everybody is a team that the 49ers just beat by 11 points. Now, I know a lot of people are going to say the Niners beat the Panthers in spite of Brock Purdy. And again, I know he had a very bad first half. And Brock in the second half could have absolutely collapsed, ended up with 5-6 interceptions, maybe even could have gotten benched. But he tightened up and he finished the game out and brought his team a win. Matt Stafford had 3 turnovers today. Nobody's going to say anything about that. They're just going to chalk that up to a bad game for Matt Stafford and keep it moving. And I understand that. He's a great quarterback. When I think it's all said and done, will be one of the greatest of all time. Probably already is one of the greatest of all time. He's got some of the best arm talent I've ever seen with these 2 eyes. And so I just want to say that sometimes, and it's definitely a what have you done for me now, or what have you done for me lately league. I understand that completely, and I get that. But sometimes, man, quarterbacks just have a bad game. And I feel as though maybe what we saw, let Brock get back from the bye week, handle business against Tennessee, be effective in that game just like he was in this one. And I would say maybe the man just had a bad game. Maybe he was off. Believe it or not, the reigning MVP, Mr. Josh Allen, he's had a couple of head-scratching games himself. These guys are definitely not perfect. And I know everybody's standard is Patrick Mahomes, and I think it's time that we wake up, guys, and realize that in Patrick Mahomes, we're seeing the greatest quarterback talent of all time in our generation. So we've got to stop comparing everybody else to a guy like Patrick Mahomes. That guy is one of one. And you have to remember that Brock, I know he just got paid. And he's got to live up to that contract. But living up to a contract doesn't mean you can't have a bad game. Sorry. Just wanted to get that disclaimer out the way. The second point I want to talk about, Myles Garrett. He was definitely disruptive, but he wasn't a game wrecker. I talked a lot in my preview show about how historic the pace Myles Garrett was, the accolades, the achievements that he's done thus far throughout the season. I really feel like there's no way this man doesn't break the single season sack record. And I think he's going to break it before his last game of the season, if I could just be truthful with you. If not for some decisive footwork and some really quick rollouts by Brock Purdy, this man could have had 3 to 4 sacks today. He did end up with a sack today, which brought his total to a league-leading 19 sacks, which is absolutely insane. There was a moment in the game that absolutely made me smile where Myles Garrett just flew through there on the right side of our line, and Brock was able to wiggle out and throw the ball out of bounds. And Myles Garrett and Brock Purdy just had a moment where you saw this giant, towering specimen that is Myles Garrett look down and just smile at Brock Purdy for being able to get that football away. And it was all in good fun and good sportsmanship. But I want to give hats off to the O-line today for San Francisco. This rotation between Ben Bartch and Spencer Burford has been very effective. And I have to be honest with you, I didn't know how I would feel about this back and forth thing, man. But it has absolutely been working and keeping those guys fresh. And I know Brock had some pressure, but it was nothing that was game wrecking. I also thought that Brock did a very effective job of pushing the ball downfield, even with that ridiculously strong win today. So I just want to give shout out to that offensive line. They did an absolutely great job. Point 3, let's talk about these special teams, guys. I did a show, man, in the off season this year, talking about can we make our special teams special again. This is back when we had Jake Moody, when we were not staying true to our assignments and our gaps in our lanes and just getting blown up on return coverage. This special teams unit, man, has absolutely turned things around. This special teams unit, guys, is a force factor, a force multiplier. We're winning games because of how well we are playing on special teams. And, man, Sky Moore had a 66-yard punt return. That Sky, spelled with 2 Y's, he can fly. Man, my bars are strong today. Sorry, I'll never do that again. But yeah, just getting a big fumble on special teams. Sky Moore with another big return. I was skeptical of Sky Moore. I didn't think that he was going to add too much, if anything at all, to the offense, which he hasn't really brought anything to the offense whatsoever. But he has legitimately stabilized our return game. And I'm very appreciative of that, because that's something that first couple of games didn't have a lot of consistency. But now it's a threat. Now teams are having to wonder, is this going to be another kick return that Sky might take to the house or get really close to taking to the house? Matt Gay, man, my heart absolutely stopped on that first field goal attempt that was a give me that bounced off the upright and then landed in. It's going to be a good game when that happens. And you guys know, you can go back and look at the pregame. I'd actually picked the Niners to lose this game just from the history, just from how bad Brock has played himself in bad weather contests. But that's why you got to ride with your team, right? I guess I learned a lesson from myself in this one. Very happy with this performance. Last point I want to make are key performances that helped in this win. Can't say enough about Brock Purdy's clean game, no turnovers, mobility looked good, decisive, made the right decision. And what I really want to call out is I know that Christian McCaffrey had some very key runs. But not only did Brock have a good game, but he had a good game where CMC didn't carry this team today, guys. Christian McCaffrey had under 75 total yards for this game. Okay? Under 75 total yards. If I would have told you guys at the beginning of the week that we played the Cleveland Browns in Cleveland, coming off Brock Purdy's performance that he just had, and Christian McCaffrey was held to under 3 yards per carry and under 75 total yards for the game, what would you guys have told me the outcome was? What would you guys have told me the score would have been for the game? I thought the defense was very disciplined in this one. I know we gave up a lot of rushing yards. Cleveland really stuck with the run game, but we made opportune plays when it was needed. We made some big fourth down stops. Cleveland Farrell, man, got to give this guy a shout out. 9 total tackles, 6 solo tackles, 2 sacks for the game. My man Keon White had a sack in this one. And look, I was one of the people secretly inside a little bit frustrated that the Niners didn't go out here and make some more moves in free agency. But how little we forget that the 2 guys that had these big plays in today's game are the 2 guys the 49ers picked up during the free agency period. The offensive line, I thought, did a great job of, I guess you could say, holding steady in this particular contest. Again, there was some pressure. Who doesn't this football team? Who doesn't the Cleveland Browns put pressure on? They are a top 5 defense, and the fact that we were able to score 26 points, to me, is something very special. So what now? What does this mean? What does this win mean for the Niners? I think it's a semi-statement game. And what I mean by semi-statement, I'm not saying that beating the Cleveland Browns is some huge statement win and the 49ers are playoff bound and all this, that, and the other. But I feel like what was answered in this game is that Brock Purdy has not turned into a pumpkin. I think that Brock had a bad game, guys. He bounced back in this one, had a very good performance, which, I mean, you heard the noise all week, man. Everybody was beating up Brock. I heard the "you got to start Mac Jones" comments, all this other stuff. Look, I said myself, and I'll say it again. Last week, if Brock would have thrown a 4th pick in the first half, yeah, you might want to sit Brock the rest of that particular contest and try to protect him from himself, okay? I didn't in any stretch of the imagination mean that if Brock would have threw a pick in the first quarter of this game, oh, that's it, yank him, put Mac Jones in. That's not what you do. That's not what you do with your franchise quarterback, unless he's just out there injured, hurting himself, or just absolutely can tell you got to yank him out of there, right? So Brock was able to bounce back. Brock was able to be effective. His footwork looked better. He looked confident. The Niners showed that they can handle an elite defense with elite defensive players without completely collapsing. They proved that their special teams unit is not just solid, but they're a legitimate edge for the San Francisco 49ers. Guys, Kyle Shanahan just beat a Jim Schwartz coach defense. I think that brings his record to 2 wins and 11 losses all time. Again, another big-time deal for the confidence of the team. I'm sure that did something for Kyle Shanahan. It's the first time we've won in Cleveland, man, since jorts were popular, right? If you're a 49ers fan, you have to walk away from this game feeling confident about the direction the team is headed in. If we can come back from the bye week a little bit healthier, we might even get some guys back. If we can come back from the bye week a little bit healthier at home against the 1-win Tennessee Titans, and we can take care of business. Now, it's the NFL, guys. Anything can happen. Ask the Los Angeles Rams about that. So anything can happen. But if we're able to take care of business and get to 10 wins, 10 wins should do it. 10 wins should get us in the playoffs. Now, I think I would like for us to definitely pull off 1 win between the Colts, the Bears, and the Seahawks. The Seahawks at home, depending upon how things go, may be a scenario where it doesn't matter and Seahawks might rest some players. Hopefully, we might be able to do the same. The Rams just lost a big game today. Let's see what can happen. But yeah, guys, just want to say, really thank you all for watching today, watching today's post-game reaction, post-game recap, and breakdown. Please, if you like the show today, hit that like button, drop a comment with your thoughts on the game, and don't forget to subscribe. It really does help out the channel. Thanks for tuning in, faithful, and as always, take care and be blessed.